Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at long last we are recording, and at long last we are returning to scenic Mirkwood. Welcome to the Darkening of Mirkwood, episode 137. When last we left our heroes, Rugilia rushed to the aid of Kelda, the strangely skilled craftswoman, and the rest of the company followed as quickly as they were able. But Clovis the halfling was there first, brandishing his sword, and when Rugilia and the others appeared, it was enough to send the thugs running, having been able to snatch only Kelda's notion pouch, full of buttons, needles, and other odds and ends. Kelda noted that her gold and silver threads were all in her pack, and that they were the only thing that she possessed that which was worth stealing. Rugilia pursued the thugs into the city, while Brandolf followed Rugilia, but at enough of a distance that hopefully the thugs wouldn't see him, and the rest of the party, again at a distance, followed Brandolf. This chain progressed across the city until the company lost track of Brandolf, and Brandolf lost track of Rugilia, but not before Hilduara was confronted by Berengar, the father of Brandolf and Berard, who demanded of Hilduara a weregild for the death of his son. Since he was asking far more money than the company was able to pay, he challenged Hilduara to the Utgang, which Hilduara accepted in 7 days' time. Rugilia continued to pursue the thugs into the Broken Stone until she finally lost them, and her encounter with a member of the Old Quarters Beggars Guild yielded very little in the way of information, except that he led her to believe that the thugs worked for this Loger the company had already heard about, and that since they were, quote, paid up, they had passage through the city by ways which he would not divulge. Rugilia finally met up with Brandolf and the rest of the party, and they headed into the missing scale to discuss their plans, by way of Brandolf's family home, where he hoped to confront his father and talk him out of the Utgang. This was entirely unsuccessful, but the conversation with his mother and 2 sisters led them to disown him when he flatly refused to take revenge for his brother's death. "Both of my sons are dead," his mother said, and his sisters spat after him as he left. Proceeding to the missing scale, the company discussed their next move, finally deciding they would head down the southern road towards the river in hopes of finding some trace of the bandit Loger. All right, I'm going to go put up the dogs, and then we'll get going.
You guys probably have more experience than I do with what kind of magic we can expect in this world, but is it possible that they took her bag because they needed something of hers for some kind of like magical spell or something? I mean, that's one possible reason they would want something that doesn't have monetary value.
That's kind of what I was wondering, because her designs were, seem like they were moving. Know how much of that is skill, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's so hard to know when a detail is important versus when it's made to facilitate conversations like this. But yeah, that would really make sense. But it might seem innocuous to her.
And I think sometimes in this world, something that is made that is highly skilled has very similar effects to something that's made that has magical properties. Like that line's kind of blurred.
Yeah.
So how long is it? Did he say before I get to fight Brandolf's dad? I mean, before I have to fight Brandolf's dad?
A week. So it depends on how long that week takes.
Yeah.
All right. So,
is that Aslan on your shirt? I just noticed that was a lion.
Yeah, it's actually a really cool Narnia shirt. It's got like a bunch of different things from the books all worked into a single image. It's really cool. It was one of those like 24-hour t-shirt deals, so it's not like an officially licensed Narnia thing. It was just some image that a graphic designer came up with, but I dug it, so I bought it. All right.
Most of my Lord of the Rings artwork and maps and stuff is not officially licensed. So
So are we deciding anything, or like I got up to do the dog thing and then you got up to do the dog thing? Are we supposed to be deciding something in particular?
Yeah.
I will do it when my game is over, okay?
I don't know that we are. I think we're trying to
Cool.
Daddy,
heading into the forest.
what do you have the names for?
It's just the names of all the people.
Heading into the forest to find the stolen stuffs.
Or the swamp to look for
Treasure.
that dude.
All right. So, you set off searching for this bandit, Logar, somewhere in the upper marches to the east of the running river. It's a relatively short distance, so I'm not going to call for travel tests, but finding the bandits themselves won't be easy. You just have a sort of a general direction. There is, and there's a fair amount of ground to cover. Even if you sort of limit your search to the immediate vicinity of the watercourse, the rains of the last few days have made the paths kind of muddy and unpleasant. So all those who are acting as the party's scouts or huntsmen. So that would be
Laura is the scout, I believe.
Yeah. So that would be Hildewara, Margood, and Idun. You can each give me a roll using either explore, search, or hunting.
Like what time when marshmallow?
does it have to be the one that my token is on?
What do you mean?
So it could be any of them, explore, search, or hunting.
Yes, you can do any of those.
Marga the Mighty Hunter rolled a 16.
Okay, very good. Does anybody else want to make an attempt?
Yeah. I'm just trying to-
It's kind of a group activity, so you're. Oh gosh.
Wow.
Ha 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 ha.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. Well, between the three of you, and with the aid of Idun's keen dwarven eyes, which are always looking out for a bit of nice stonework or a road, you do find a fairly well-trod path through the wilderness. It's not paved, but it is well-trod and fairly tightly packed. Whereas a lot of the land around here is just kind of it's kind of almost a slurry, like just muddy. One might say like Grand Prairie these days, with all the rain that we've had. But the land around here is just kind of mostly a slurry, but here you find a fairly hard-packed and well-trodden path. As you do, okay. Currently, you seem to be the only ones here. The track itself is hard enough that either no one has passed this way recently, or if they did not leave any tracks. Brandolf is the lookout, Sophie. Margood, Hildewara are the scouts, and Idun is the huntsman. You should be able to see it on Roll20, but You're on mute, babe. All right. So.
And who was the guy?
The guide is Alfrey and Rugilia. So you can technically only have one guide, but since I don't think Ben's going to make it tonight, we'll do just Rugilia.
Okay.
Okay. You don't meet any travelers. You don't see any tracks of recent passage. But then again, if you're looking for bandits, they may not leave the kind of tracks that like a merchant caravan would. But you're following this path. Your search takes an easterly course, crossing into the western edges of the upper marches. And here, as you make your way across the open countryside for several miles, the trail starts leading you south into a desolate, miry heath, whose eastern side seems to be walled by a rampart of crags. And looking around, you do not see any signs of habitation. Why don't you all go ahead, the huntsmen and scouts, go ahead and give me another roll. This will be, you can make 2 of these per day. So go ahead and go and give me.
Where are we again? Are we east or west of the river?
You are on the east side, I believe, of the running river, headed down generally from Dale, kind of following the footpath on the east side of the river.
Okay.
Kind of, if you look at the map, you're in this general vicinity. Man, you do, and just... Gosh. All right. So that's a great... It's another extraordinary? My goodness. Okay, so... And then ordinary, so it's 5. Okay. Before long, you find very clear tracks of booted feet, which, as the ground becomes marshier and marshier, and some of the path begins to give way a bit more under your feet, you can find very clear tracks. Well, they're not clear enough to tell who or how many at this point, but they are very clearly of booted feet which have passed this way often. And you find that you have entered at this point a desolate bog, kind of like a long finger of the long marshes, the main expanse of which most of you are familiar with, which lies to the southwest of where you are. But here, in this remote corner of the Dalelands, it seems that Logar and his men have made their unsavory abode, just based on the tracks which you have found and the information that the halfling gave you.
Can we tell what, like, are the tracks human-sized or dwarf-sized?
They are too, at this point, they are too scattered and too muddled by the rains to tell for sure. They do appear to be several days old, however.
Okay.
So you've reached the end of your first day of searching. So at this point, you are all, you make camp for the night around a small fire. And is there anything anybody wants to say or do as you make camp for the night? Talking a bunch tonight. It's so hard getting back after we've been off for a month.
I would like to, I don't know if this would be awareness. I would like to kind of look around and see if there's anyone hanging out there with us.
Yeah. Give me an awareness test.
Yeah. The dice are not in my favor today.
I guess I took them all.
It seems clear. The night is quite dark, as you come to expect under the trees this close to Mirkwood.
The night is dark and full of terror.
They might even be full of bees.
Bees? Did you say bees?
No, I didn't say bees. What? Was Jonathan with us when you guys ran into all those bees that one time?
I was not.
Oh.
It was awful. They nearly carried several of us off.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember the was it the Murkrows?
No,
This campaign?
gore crows, but that was a long time ago.
Crows.
Yeah. Yeah. No, these are giant bees. All right. As you sort of,
Okay, go on.
what were you going to say, Sophie?
I was just looking up songs because this seems like a good time for a company song.
Okay. So you kind of all settle in for the night. If you have a song, let me know.
Okay, I'm just getting the blog pulled up.
Yeah.
I think Rugilia is going to consult the wonderful book that was passed on to her by Warsong. Let's see, which one do we do?
Who's not on? Autoplay's not on.
Let's see. How about part of Asfred's Companions of the Road?
Okay.
Autoplay's.
Who are you singing about?
Let's see. Let's do Foxglove. Foxglove was a hobbit brave, though cooking won no award. She faced a barrow white in his grave and attended a spider accord. And when she faced another close shave, she shouted magic sword. And when she faced yet another close shave, she shouted magic sword. Do you want me to do more verses?
Oh, that's good. I mean, you can if you want to. It's quite catchy.
Hapless Amras many-eyed, for he wore a deep red cape. First he helped to a dwarven bride and got in quite a scrape. When the madness drew aside, the werewolf he did not escape. When the madness drew aside, the werewolf he didn't escape. And she was just kind of singing it. She sings through the whole song, but she kind of glances playfully at different people as she's going through the verses.
Most of you have probably heard snatches of these songs, as you knew Warsong. Many of you knew Warsong before Rugilia. So you can all make a song roll at this time if you would like. And if you get a success, I believe it gives you bonus die that you can use this session. Is that right, Sophie?
This session only.
Yeah.
Does that count for me? I don't think.
Yeah, you can roll song.
Yeah, maybe she has met or something.
Yeah, it's just to like sing along, Yeah, so you can all do this.
It's basically just raising your spirit, giving you some energy for.
Not super well, except for Hilduara. So, Jonathan, you've got one bonus die that you can use this session. You just have to declare that you're using it before you roll.
2 success die, not 1.
Okay, you've got 2 success die you can use this session.
All right.
It's for 1 roll, so you can add 2 to any 1 roll.
Right.
Okay.
All right. As the tune kind of hangs in the air around the fire, and those of you who are taking first watch stand and go to your post, and the rest of you close your eyes with the sounds, the croaking of frogs and the buzzing of flies and the gleaming of eyes in the darkness all around you. It is yet another scenic night passed in the long marshes. And Brandolph, as you drift off to sleep, you see dark shapes moving at the edge of your vision, swirling, 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 spinning in a tight pattern, ever outward, and slowly against a background of deep orange, the black shapes begin to take form. They are ravens. As they separate from each other, you can focus in on each of them. You see the black plumage so dark it's almost blue in the orange glare behind them. And every detail of every feather, every gleaming edge of their beaks, and their coal bright eyes seem etched in perfect detail, and yet a moment later the detail is gone and the ravens are but black shapes circling at the edge of your image, surrounding something, an abstract frame around the city in flame. You see the orange blaze has clarified, sharpened, and you now look upon the city of Dale as it burns. Must have burned this way when Smaug first came down from the withered heath in the days of his youth. It burns, and you can almost hear the crack of the great bell towers as one by one they come crashing down with a loud gong. And something between you and the city, framed by the circling ravens, swings back and forth and back and forth like the pendulum of a clock. It's a man. You can taste the taste of death and decay in the air, and you can hear the creak of the rope as you see your father hanging from a gibbet. But it's not a gibbet, not exactly, as your eyes follow up from his neck, snapped to one side at a strange angle, to his pale, lidless eyes, one of which is crawling with maggots. You glance up the rope to the gallows, and you see that the gallows takes the shape, dark crenellations against an orange sky, a castle made of stone. And on the battlements of the castle, there's a small figure standing, no larger than a child, its jaw distended in a huge maniacal grin, its eyes dancing with flames, and its whole head and shoulders framed by a great horned crown. And then the dark shapes at the edge of your thought and memory crowd in It is as though you have seen something you thought you once knew, but it's gone. The ravens circling in, hovering around the branches, the horns of the crown. One of them reaches its head down and plucks at the eyes of the child. And in an instant, your vision goes blind. And you awake the next morning, sitting round the campfire with your companions, as a very gray twilight dawn begins to slowly creep over the bog.
You're muted, PJ.
Oh, okay.
Loud.
That is the loudest keyboard in the universe, Jonathan.
It is. I had to special order it from a different universe, a parallel universe where all the keyboards are super loud. But Amazon got it to me in 2 days, so
Oh.
there's that.
It's amazing what you can do with the internet.
Okay, well, once I wake up from this dream, I tell them what I saw.
Wow, that's not a good sign. Do you think that's about just, your family trouble, or is that something, sounds like something bigger?
Is this the first time you've had a dream like this?
He turns the or what's her name? He turns to Idun to answer her question. Says, I'm not exactly for sure if this has anything to do with Dale or not. I'm positive I know that it has something to do with my family. Of course, the man I saw was my father. And I can only help but guess that the child in the dream is supposed to be my sister Saldus. And he turns to Regalia and says, I don't have them often, and I don't think I've had one that's been quite. I don't remember ever having one quite like this one. I don't know.
Well, that's a relief.
I think it has. My father told me that some people in the city before Smog came had dreams similar to what I have at times. They had dreams of Smog coming down and burning Lake Town. Some kind of foresight, as you would call it.
I see.
Whether you want to call that a blessing or a curse is up.
So, any of the times you've had a dream in the past, has it ever come true?
Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, let's hope this is one of those latter times.
Do you know? Can you tell us a little bit more about what makes you think the child was your sister?
It may be pure coincidence, and it may be just me. But when I first told them, when I had first told them that it was that Berard had died, they were all, everybody was still sane, upset, of course. And once my father heard, he was already looking for Wergild for death. But when I told my sisters, they still, when I left them to go get Regalia, I was still loved in that house. I never thought I would have came back and they would have kicked me out. Also, saw this was the one that lost her hand in the door. It may be just pure coincidence, but and of course this is all connected. This is all happening due to what my brother did.
I find that dreams are rarely coincidence.
Yes. So,
Is there any way to stop it?
I'm not for sure. Something like this. I don't know if we'll be able to stop this or not.
We don't know what
I've
causes
already,
it. We
say
don't,
what?
we don't know what causes it. So we can't avoid it. I think perhaps in trying to avoid it, we would bring it upon ourselves. Best to just continue on as is.
Anytime I've tried to soothe my father's wrath, it seems to have just fed more flame to the fire. So at this point, it may be more of getting ready to take the hit than trying to avoid it.
Well, like you said, it's probably good to have at least a little bit of warning, even if we can't stop anything.
Yes.
All right.
More good. I know I asked this earlier, but back at the bar, but was there any other name that my brother was going by besides Berard?
When he was trying to convince us it wasn't him, he kept calling himself Wolfgar.
Like that name, though. Does Brandolph know that's also the name of the wine merchant?
You would have heard of Wolfgar, sure.
Did I give the right name?
I think it was actually Ulf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did not, but that's something that your character might easily have been confused about. So.
Well, I know the story too because Angi was there and told me it's Ulfgar. Pretty sure with a U. I was there when the dude killed himself too, so yeah, apparently I know who Ulfgar is.
We spoiled your Hobbit sightseeing trip.
Yep.
All right. So, kind of with a brooding sense of something in the air, you all pack up your gear, try to remove traces of your campsite as best you're able, and continue on the way to find Logor's camp. Those of you who are scouts, yes, it is. No, that would have been a fine thing to say, Jeremy. Would have been a good icebreaker. All right, so huntsmen and scouts, you may give me rolls at this time.
Tomorrow is going to be June.
This is going to be against a TN16. Not that matters to Jeremy.
Let's peel it. And then.
Damn.
All right.
Doesn't matter to anyone.
Okay.
Bam.
Look at us.
So it's the bacon. It's the breakfast of champions. You marching across the terrain of the bog makes for some very slow and uncomfortable exploring. Again, as you begin to enter this area where the reeds are thick and the fog lays heavy and cold, you find kind of a narrow stretch of dry land that was shielded from the path that you were on before by tall reeds. It's covered with sparse shrubs, and there are also a handful of mossy, skeletal-looking trees. What's very interesting about the terrain here, with your ridiculous number of successes, you notice the footprints are heavy booted feet of something generally man-sized, but there's no mistaking it now. Everywhere the footprints go, there are clear signs of where the brush or the reeds have just been cruelly hacked down, not for firewood, but just hacked and left to lie. And much of it looks recent. And when I say recent, I mean the sap is still showing. It couldn't have been more than an hour ago.
Can we tell how many sets of footprints?
You would guess. Let's see. Did one of you roll hunting? Yes. You would guess probably in the ballpark of maybe 10, maybe slightly more. What are you guys doing?
Well, if they're hacking and not trying to hide where they are, they probably don't know that they're being followed yet. So,
Can I look for a trap?
What's that?
Can I look and see if it seems like they are aware?
Yes. you are all welcome to roll awareness if you would like to do so.
Can I roll middle? Because I am looking to see if they're drawing us in.
Certainly. That would be battle.
Oh.
Do I get anything for that awareness?
What did you get? You got a Gandalf, so you got a success. Margaret failed his, Hildora got hers, Brandel failed his, Idun got hers, Regalia failed hers. Let me just check a rule real quick. Okay. All right. Good to refresh myself on those rules. Okay. Regalia, as you and Brandolf and Margaret glance around, you kind of looking. You're just mostly horrified at the waste and the destruction around you. That even here on the fringe of Mirkwood, where none of these plants are exactly what you would call beautiful. That even here the mark of the shadow, the work of the shadow has left its mark. And as you're just sort of meditating on that thought for a moment, Idun and Hildewara, you both notice a faint stirring in the reeds on either side of the company, and you hear the whistle of the arrows just before the impact. It's not quite soon enough to warn the rest of the company. However, the two of you do get the opportunity to roll battle for preparatory rolls and make opening volleys if you have the ability to do so.
All right.
The rest of you set stances, please.
Does throwing a spear count as opening volley?
Yes, it does. You just won't have the spear to use again the rest of the fight.
Yeah, well, that's not my normal weapon.
But you are surprised, I believe, Brandolf.
No.
I believe that Hildewara and Idun are the only ones who are not. So they get opening volleys. You do not. You're like, huh? What happened? What's happening?
Do I get to roll battle?
You do not. You are surprised.
Okay.
So Hildewara and Idun get to roll battle and make opening volleys if they have the capacity to do so. In the meantime, arrows come whizzing out of the darkness. And my notes say they shoot elves and dwarves first. So Idun, that misses you. That hits you for 6 points of damage. And I need you to give me an armor test.
Okay, just a second. I'm trying to see if my shield is useful here. This quality enhances the parry bonus due to the shield. Okay.
Do I have a marker? Where's Regalia?
Okay, so you need me to do a what now? An armor test?
Yes. An armor test against TN12. Yes, let me get Regalia out there.
Okay.
All right, you can put her in whatever stance you want her in, Sophie.
Oh, nice.
All right, so you're totally fine in armor, but you do take 6 points of damage. And then we're gonna do a couple more shots. This one's gonna be at Brandolph, which is gonna just barely miss. And this one will be you, Hildewara, because I know you love to get shot. So you take 6 points of damage. All right. At this point, as arrows whiz around you, you scramble. There's a scramble as you draw weapons, ready shields. Idun and Hildewara, if you want to take opening volleys, I don't think either of you actually.
Yeah, I don't
opening
have
volleys,
anything for that.
Can I throw my axe for an opening volley?
You can throw spears, but not great spears. You cannot throw axes.
What about my dagger?
You can throw a dagger. You just have to move yourself to the rearward stance and throw it.
I didn't know you could throw daggers.
You can. Nobody ever does anything with the dagger skill, but yeah, you can totally throw daggers.
All right.
I mean,
so
I
will
guess-
move to rearward.
Yeah, just move yourself to rearward just for the volley, and
Yeah.
then pick an orc. Pick an orc
I'm
any
going
orc.
to throw a dagger at whichever dude just shot me.
Okay, the two archers are in the bottom right-hand corner.
Okay. Shooting one of them.
That will miss.
Well,
So
I just got shot. Give me a break.
I had fun this weekend because I got to throw a tomahawk at one of my friends' parties. They had a tomahawk block.
If you hadn't have said parties in that sentence, then it would have been much different.
Yeah, I realized that.
One of my friends' arms. One of my friends' pets. One of my friends' exes.
Good friend.
I did shoot a friend of mine with an arrow when I was in grade school.
The worst I've ever done is a BB gun.
Oh, okay. So I guess I can take an opening volley then too.
Throw your dagger. One of these days, somebody needs to play a character that just rocks the
that's
daggers.
definitely a miss.
That just rocks the daggers skill, and like with a really high body score, and then just like crazy daggers skill, and you're just always because daggers only do 3 damage, but if you had a really high body score, then every time you rolled a 6, you would be adding that as bonus damage.
That sounds like a Hobbit.
Like a pugilist or like an assassin. Could be
Yeah.
fun. All right.
Hobbit
Idun and Hildewara are both on the ready, and you both sort of fleeing daggers, and they're lost in the reeds to no effect as the orcs close in around you, and you see emerging. Their archers are still off in the reeds on either side of you, but you see emerging from the reeds on either side 6 enormous black orcs. These are not your... I mean, you've all fought orcs before. These are not your like little cannon fodder orcs. Like these are big, tough looking, based on just their scars and the condition of their equipment, and the skulls of dwarves and men which hang from their belts. You would guess that these are veterans of many conflicts. And
Do
they
these orcs look anything like what I fought at the tower, at the Morrowind's Tower?
You they are no, they don't. They're not that sort of orc at all. Sorry, I had to think back. And actually, I forgot these guys get opening volleys too. One of them chucks a spear at you, Brandolph. You take 4 points of damage. And then Rugilia. This one chucks a spear at you. Hildora and Idun, you can go back ahead and move yourself back to your other stances. Rugilia, you take 4 points of damage, and I need you to give me an armor test against TN12.
I kind of want to wait to move to my other stance until after you do this.
No, that's not how this works. Actually, it sort of is how this works because opening volleys are always against TN12. But anyway,
Okay.
that misses you, Hildora. And then this one is aimed at Idun.
Bend for that.
Idun, you take 4 points of damage as one of the spears hits you. It doesn't pierce your armor, but it kind of knocks you around a bit. And then Margood, you take 8 points of damage, and I need you to also make an armor test against TN12. So instantly, as arrows fall around you, there's this huge volley of enormous spears just falling in amongst your party, dodging you, knocking you all around. You don't take a wound, Jeremy, but you do take the 8 points of damage.
Do you body? Oh wait, what was the TN?
12.
12.
Okay, so
For armor, you add body, yes.
I'm spending a point, so I make that.
Okay. All right. So you kind of stagger under the impact and the suddenness of the ambush, and Brandolph, Idun, and Hildewara, you are up.
I mean,
As you're kind of like standing there reaching for your weapons, the lead orc, this huge battle-hardened Uruk, says, "All right, lads. I'd say it looks like meat's back on the menu. But to be fair, we've been eating pretty good lately. You lot are gonna be sorry that you decided to cross Radbo, the Great and Terrible."
What did you say your name was?
Radbo, the Great.
Red Bull?
No.
He's
Shut up! Yeah! All right,
I cast vicious mockery.
Brandolph, Idun, and Hildewara, you are up.
This is coming for me.
All right.
Try and take out the ragdoll first.
Well, that's who I'm going for is Ragdoll.
Among our chief weapons are mockery.
I will spend my last point of courage to hit that for 9 points of damage
All right.
because I'm swinging two-handed.
Okay. That is. He is a. Maybe he's got something cool that will make you waste your courage.
Are you attacking the big guy?
Oh.
Yes.
Hey, guess what, PJ? Guess what? Guess.
with the speed of a snake.
He steps nimbly aside with snake-like speed, and your blow misses him, and he just kind of laughs and he says, "Puny human." Idun and Hildewara, you're up.
So I'm thinking a better strategy is to attack the littles first, so we have less people coming at us. So I'm going to attack this first dude with my great spear. Gonna whip it out Then I realize it takes 2 hands, so I take a quick swig from my flask and then let it drop to my side and attack.
That will miss.
What?
A 19.
What? 19. What's up with that?
These guys are veteran fighters, man.
Okay.
So they have a 10 in parry.
But the
They
dude
have
that ran to a
parry
attack,
of 8 plus 2 for their shield. So yes, PJ.
the dude that Randolph attack only had a TN of 13. Of course, he couldn't hit him, but still.
Yep.
Maybe that was a better call.
All right. Idun, you're up.
Should I attack, or I could do an intimidate foe? Obviously, I'm not Calamirith anymore.
You
but
can't do intimidate foe this round because
oh
you
yeah, I
began
guess
the
you're right. I
open
can't.
stance.
Okay. And none of these guys have been hit yet, have they?
No.
Okay, but so if I'm fighting with my Maddock, I can't be carrying the shield, right? Because the Maddock is a two-handed weapon.
That's right.
But because I have this super badass shield, but I'm not that good with my short sword yet. But I can. When would I specify if I want to switch between carrying it and not carrying
just
it?
at the top of the round.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to put the shield out of the way, and I'm going to attack with my Maddock.
Idun slings the shield over her shoulder and drawing the Maddock from her belt. She swings it and misses it. They don't? Okay, hold on. Rugilia? Let me look at that, because that's going to be annoying.
They have medicine for that now.
It's alright, Rugilia. 1 out of 10 adventurers suffers from this problem. Nothing to be embarrassed about. You have so many weapons. Holy crap. Okay. Sword.
It's a free country, ain't it?
Alright, so hold on. Let's see here.
Do you suffer from weapon dysfunction?
No. Don't want to talk about it.
Alright. Let's see here.
Margaret could go.
Yeah, I'm just getting this in real quick. Almost done. And then alright, if you click off your token and click back on it, Sophie, you should see those weapons now. Alright, Margood, you are up. You are currently being attacked on all sides as you are ambushed by these orcs. What are you doing about that?
I am cutting off the head with my bow.
Wow, that was surprisingly successful. Never thought of bows as a cutting weapon, but okay.
Well, it's got a razor thing on.
Oh, it's like one of those things they use for necking turkeys, like where the blades like pop out.
Yeah, or deer.
Which one did you?
All right, he succeeds his armor test. However, your arrow does strike the this large, heavy-set orc Rodball in the shoulder for 7 points of damage. He could have snake-like speeded that. Oh well.
He wasn't quick enough on his feet.
Yeah, I wasn't quick enough on my feet. Okay. All right. Hildewara, you're up.
No, I need to go.
I'm sorry. Rugilia, that's who I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
All right.
ladies. I don't know.
I am using my great bow, which is the Moor Song, which has Orc Bane. So I will be rolling twice. I have to succeed at both rolls. If I do, I inflict damage for both rolls. If I fail at one of them, then they both miss
Okay.
because it has Biting Dart. All right. It has to get up to 16.
That's right.
And you add body to that.
Yes.
All right. Well,
So
I
that,
missed the first one.
yeah, so that fails.
No go. When do we change stances? Do we change stances now before the bad guys go, or do we change stances?
It will be the top of the next round, which will be after the bad guys go.
Okay, cool.
So now it is the turn of the bad guys. Radball steps forward, and I'm trying to decide who he attacks for mocking him. We're going to stick with Hildewara, because what the hey. Hildewara, does a 26 hit you?
That's a miss, actually.
Yeah, well, in that case, you only take 7 points of damage. As Radball begins to lay into you with this huge two-handed scimitar. The other orcs file in around as they cast their spears. They now draw shorter bent swords as well. One of them attacks you, Brandolf, barely missing you. The next one is going to attack you, Idun, also barely missing you. The next one is going to attack Hildewara as well. Hildewara, you need to give me an armor test. You also take 4 points of damage.
Success.
Okay.
Great.
You don't fail. You don't take a wound, but you do take 4 points of damage.
Okay.
These other two are going to just pile up on Brandolf and Idun. Like you do. Brandolf, you take 8 points of damage. That misses you, Idun, and then the archers are going to take shots at the other two archers. So, Rugilia, this arrow comes zipping towards you, barely missing you. And Morgood, this one zips towards you, also missing you. All right, and that is it. That's the top of the round. You can change stances at this time.
Can anyone intimidate folk? Because
I've got a 2 in battle, so I could.
how's your armor?
If I put my shield up, it's pretty good.
Okay. And then how about rally comrades? Anybody good for that?
What is that song?
Song or inspire? I do have a 2 in song.
I mean, I'm good in awe. I can do the intimidate foe. I just am kind of squishy right now.
Yeah. Well, if Idun has stuff for that, then
Yeah.
I've got a decent shield.
Okay. Do y'all want me to try rally comrades? I've got a 2 in song.
Couldn't hurt.
But I also have a bow that could do a lot of damage if I can hit twice in a row.
Part of me says we're all still kind of okay, so maybe inflicting damage right now is better. But
Okay.
Yeah, especially if we could knock out this leader guy, who seems to be for some reason the easiest one to hit.
Rambo.
Okay, so I'm going to
Red Bull.
bring my shield back up.
He said his name was Rambo.
That's what I said.
I'm going to.
An animal.
You guys understanding that?
So I'm pulling my shield back out, and I'm going to scream a fierce dwarven battle cry. Okay, a success. So that means they lose 2 hit points.
All right. Okay. Brandolph and Hildora, you're up. Oh my gosh. If there is an NPC name that can be mangled, players will mangle it. This is because players are assholes, just naturally, just according to the rules of the universe. My buddy JM once ran a campaign, and they were fighting against this like ancient pharaoh named like Deyutmos or something like that, and everyone constantly misunderstood it as DJ Hitmouse, which is a great DJ name. I think we can all agree that's a great name. There was another time that we were playing D&D, and there was this or anyway, he was playing D&D with another group, and there was this I forget what it's called, but it's like an undead paladin kind of a thing. I don't remember. It's something in D&D, but anyway, it like, you know, cleared out a bunch of enemies, and the players were all like, oh, whew. You know, it's like this faceless suit of armor that just unexpectedly helped them out of a jam, and they're like, you know, who are you? What's your name? So we can thank you properly. And he said, I have no name but duty. So of course, James said that without like thinking about what he was saying when he said it, and so obviously for the rest of the campaign, everyone called that super badass undead paladin Duty. So anyway,
Well, happy duty.
Yes, exactly. So if players can mangle an NPC name, they will. All right, so Brandolph, you swing your Grievous longsword at Radval and miss. All right, Hildora, you're up.
I'm going to use my Great Spear to attack Red Bull. Wow. The dice are not in my favor.
No. Are you not using the combat buttons, Jonathan?
Oh, I wasn't for that.
Okay.
I guess
you needed a 13, but yeah, use the combat buttons because it auto calculates the TN because it's not always 14. Okay. Yeah. All right. Rugilia and Margood, you're up.
All right.
That will miss.
Yep.
You really need to up that bow skill, buddy. All right, Rugilia. Ooh. Okay, Rugilia, I need you to give me an athletics test against TN 16.
Can I not give you a test?
No, you have to give me the test. That's why it's a test.
16?
16. All right.
Wait.
I don't really think you can fix that.
I cannot, but I would like you to wait.
As you go to knock another arrow to your string, you actually slip and you find yourself sinking into the bog. Until you take a turn to free yourself, you are considered to be severely hindered. Well, it'll be next round. You're severely hindered, which means that to hit you is at a +4. For you to hit anyone else is at a -4. and you cannot change stances.
Well, at least you're in rearward.
Yeah, basically you are sinking into the bog. All right. Cool. Speaking of bad things happening to Sophie's characters, it's the bad guy's turn. You hear the orc just like break off into a long string of orcish profanity. I said it's Radball. And he hits you for 15 points of damage, Hildewara.
I'm down.
I'm sorry, but that was kind of awesome. All right.
How was it 15 points of damage?
Well, he did 7 points of damage, and then it's a great success, so he also does his damage bonus of 8.
The point in time where we start discussing whether we should run away.
Hildewara is
one of
knocked out.
one of the orcs attacks you, missing somehow.
We have not killed one of them yet.
The next orc also attacks you, Idun,
Barely injured him.
still missing you somehow. Brandolf, you get some orc. And Brandolf, you get some more orc. Holy crap! I'm just rolling crappy dice.
Oh, you were rolling crappy dice a second ago.
Yeah, Rugilia, as you are struggling to get out of the mud, one of the orcs opportunistically runs forward as there are now no longer enough of your companions fighting in a melee stance to protect you from this, and attacks you. This will be at plus.
I understand that no matter how many of my front people go down, the truth is I cannot move from rearward.
Okay. I didn't know why it said that equals. Oh, it's because I had the double plus in there. So that's actually 10, 19, 23, and a great success. So you take, as you are struggling in the mud, you take 8 points of damage. And then, Margood, have some arrows. Would you like an arrow? Would you like another arrow? All right, so the orc archers aren't really hitting much at this moment, but that's all right because the orc warriors have waded into the fray at this point, and they are now fully engaged. And Radball is standing menacingly over Hildewara's body. Just gonna move him right here so you can see that. And then these two guys are both attacking Brandolf. There we go. Okay, orcs for everybody.
Okay, so the two that are next to me are attacking me, so I can't engage with anyone else.
That's correct. You can, however, change stances if you would like at this point.
Okay. What should I... Would people prefer that I do another intimidate foe, or should I try to get Hildemara back on her feet?
I would get points back, like rally comrades.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a song or what now?
Inspire.
So
Okay.
you gotta move to the
Inspire,
open-
and that's
open
open or
stance.
defensive?
Open.
Open.
Okay.
All right. Beating on the flat of your shield with your short sword, you let out another fierce dwarven battle cry, this time rallying the hearts of your comrades who are beginning to waver with the onslaught. You all regain 2 points of endurance. All right, so Brandolf and Hildewara, you're up. Hildewara, as the darkness of night was closing in over you, the sharp and, to human ears, slightly grating sounds of Idun's trumpeted war cry snap you back into consciousness, and you see Radball standing over you with his scimitar raised.
All right. Well, I am going to attack him with my great spear, and I'm going to use the 2 extra dice I have.
Ooh,
Because
sweet.
it is time.
All right. Roll those two extra dice.
So
Okay.
it's a 20.
Well, that definitely hits for 18 points of damage. Unfortunately, I don't think even Snake-like speed can avoid a 20.
Yes.
So, you just sort of stand up as his blade is raised to fall in a stroke that would most certainly sever your head from your shoulders.
Is this a killing blow?
It is.
Can I do it?
Yep.
Okay. So while his blade is up like that, I kind of lay down, and then I open my eyes, and I pull my spear up, and as he's coming down with his blade, I stab him right through the neck. Yeah, just like that. There you go.
And he just kind of slowly slides down your spear shaft as your spear first sort of pokes through the top of his skull with a crunch, and then the skull kind of splits apart a bit as it slides slowly down.
Who's got rad balls now?
I will kill you all. All right. As
Unlikely.
As you drive the spear through his throat, you hear him rasp out, his jaw working and clicking against the spear shaft as you are slowly driving it into his skull. Longo, that halfling maggot, he set us up. Very well indeed. He wants the needle for himself.
The halfling maggot wants the needle for himself.
Did he name someone?
I'm guessing that's what they stole from the bag.
I didn't hear a name. Did you say a name, Richard? I didn't. I couldn't understand if you said at the beginning.
I did.
Longbow or something. I don't know.
Hold on.
It almost sounded like Loger.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Maybe that is what that was.
That is what I said.
Yes.
Longo.
Longo, that halfling maggot.
Yes. This is not the guy we met earlier who was Clovis.
He could have given us a
In any
false
case,
name, I suppose.
it is now Brandolph. It's your turn. What you doing, Brandolph? You're on mute.
I want to move into defensive
Okay.
and pull Rugelia out of the mud, if that's possible.
Sure. You can move in defensive. I will let you spend a point of hope to do so.
Okay, well, I will spend a point of hope, and I guess I should go ahead and say that I'm also protecting her.
Okay. Yeah, you. So Brandolph kind of steps back, Rugelia, and grabs you by one arm, and like pulls you up out of the mud. There's a sucking sound as the bog closes behind your boot as you are pulled free.
But that's really actually just a delayed sound of Red Bull dying. That sucking sound.
It is your turn, Rugelia.
You should name someone other than me because you can protect me no matter what because I am your fellowship focus.
As long as you're in the defensive stance, that is true. All right, Rugilia, it's your turn.
Well, I didn't know that. Well, I guess I'll protect Hilduara then.
All right.
You can do both.
So that's the benefit of being able to protect your fellowship focus.
Right.
Fellowship focus and someone else when you're in defensive.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. So I'm already pulled out, so I can aim at people. I'm gonna aim at the one that just stabbed at me. Can I? Oh, I can use my great bow. Ha ha ha.
Or shoot at the.
You step back, fumbling to get an arrow on your string, but the orc just kind of grunts as he takes it on his shield and continues moving forward. Mirkwood, it is your turn.
Hey, for those who have axes, can't they break shields?
Also misses. Yes, axes can break shields. That is correct. It's called shot. All right, it is the top of the bad guy turn. These guys are going to continue wailing on Idun because that's just what we do. Idun, you take 8 points of damage, and I would like you to please make an armor test against TN12.
Okay. Where's my armor test? 12.
Mm-hmm.
And you said 8 points of damage?
That's correct. So you do not take a wound, but you do take 8 points of damage. These two are going to continue to attack you, Brandolf. That one misses. And that one hits for 8 points of damage. And this last guy is going to move up and attack Hilduara. Hilduara, you do not take any damage. Alright, and then arrows for the archers, Rugilia. This one has your name on it with lots of love and kisses, but it misses. And Mirkwood. Both of those missed by 1.
Those archers are.
They're just not. They're not great.
They're not on their game.
They're not on their game. Okay. Idun and Hilduara, it is your turn.
So should I move to forward and intimidate foe? If I do that, I will most definitely be knocked out.
I mean, if we need someone to do it, I can.
Brandel is protecting you, so he can take a hit aimed for you.
He can take a hit for me.
Yep.
I don't really trust Brandolf though.
You don't know that he's willing.
What do you have in awe?
3.
Okay, yeah, you're slightly better than me.
All right, I think I'll do it. I just killed their leader. I should be kind of intimidating. Actually, was he even their leader? I don't know. He was just different.
Well, he acted like the leader.
His name is Rambo. That seems like a leader.
It was Red Bull. You guys kept hearing it wrong.
He is fallen, but the orcs seem no less determined. In fact, they seem possibly more so.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to do it. This may be a terrible idea, but can't seem to hit anyone.
I mean, except for that guy you just murdered.
That's true. That was pretty epic. All right, so I'm going to stand forward, stand up with my spear, which actually still has his head on it, but just his head because it kind of popped off because of the way it went through the top of the spine. And I'm going to stand up with it on the spike. Like, who's next?
All right, that will be 2 points of hate. Let me just look at something. All right. Yeah,
you could use it as a hand puppet.
That is just frightening enough to make the archers, who are not really having the best of days anyway, and who are somewhat frightened from the fall of their leader, to turn and flee. But the 4 remaining orc guardsmen seem very determined.
4 or 5?
There are 5. Sorry. You see, one of them actually turns to. One of them actually turns to.
Dora.
Like to each other, and they all kind of look at one of the orcs, the one you're fighting, Hilduar, and he says,
"We'll take them as an offering to the sorcerer. Except the dwarf. Kill the dwarf."
Could you tell us what sorcerer we are being offered to?
and Rugilia and Idun, it is your turn.
I am doing.
I would especially like to know if I'm not going to get to see him.
No.
Rugilia, give me an athletics test against TN16.
Why did you roll song?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna ignore help people ignore weariness. To even though I can add 6 to that, that's not enough.
All right.
Athletic.
Well, no, it wasn't a combat roll, so you're fine. Okay, Idun, it is your turn.
I'm gonna do another rally comrades. So hold on.
It's adding points or ignoring weariness.
Adding points. So dang it. Hold on.
You can probably buy that.
Yeah, I'm going to buy that with a point of courage.
Do we have 4 fellowship
I
points?
have 4 on my sheet.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I've got 4 on my sheet too. Okay, so everybody gets back 2 points of endurance.
Okay.
Are you using courage or the fellowship pool?
Courage.
All right. Brandolph, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I'm going to swing at one of these orcs.
Do it.
Just needed 22 to hit.
Yeah. Such an easy task.
Oh, somehow that's not a 22. All right. He's a bad guy turn. Oh, wait. Margot, you're up. These guys are just heavily armored. Your arrows are hitting, but either they're just hitting the shield, or they're just glancing off these guys' armor. You are quite you're having a hard time even denting the shell. All right, top guy. It's going for Hilduara. That will hit for 8 points of damage, Hilduara.
Back down.
All right, Hilduara falls again beneath the blade
Ow.
of one of the orcs.
I'll spend a point to take that one.
All right, so you take 8 points of damage instead.
Thank you.
Rugilia, you also take 8 points of damage.
All right.
Idun, you, that orc just barely misses you. And then Brandolph, the 2 attacking you. All right, also miss. So there's a quick flurry of blows as the orcs sort of form a tight knot and charge your group en masse. Rugilia, just as one of the sword strokes is about to hit you, Brandolph steps in front of it and grazes the top of his head, and he stumbles a bit right out of the way of the scimitars of 2 of the other orcs, and it is now the top of the round. I said Rugilia, I meant Hilduara, but anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see us lasting just too long in this. Do you want to continue fighting, or?
We need to be able to ignore weariness if we're going to be able to escape. We're not going to make the breakaway rolls if we are all weary.
think there's any chance if we did another successful intimidate foe that we would scare them off? Probably not.
It's possible.
They-
They're craven, I think.
Yeah, so if they run out of hate,
These
and
guys do not seem craven.
Yeah, so maybe we've gotten rid of all of those.
will it take up a round of combat if I roll insight to see if I think that they should be intimidated again or not?
I will just say, Jonathan, these orcs do not seem
Intimidating.
They do not seem the kind to be like.
Okay.
These guys are veterans.
Gotcha.
They've probably seen worse than you.
Okay.
So we want to unweary ourselves and then book it?
Yep. If we can. How are athletics?
I've got 1 in athletics.
Hmm.
Have 2.
I have 2.
It's favored at least for me though.
Who all weary?
I'm wary.
I'm weary.
All of
Oh,
us.
I might be too. I don't know. I have forgot to pay attention to that. It's been too long since I played this game.
Ignore the effects of being weary right now, though, because I'm still blessing.
No, that's only if you're wounded, Hilduar, which you are not.
I'm sorry. I am weary.
How do I tell if I'm weary?
If your endurance is less than your fatigue, you're weary.
My total fatigue.
Your total fatigue. Yeah.
Okay. Who knows? I may have been weary for a while, but I just totally forgot that was even a thing.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's definitely. You remember the weary hole? Come on.
I do, but it's just like I forgot that it was a thing that I had to actually think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your total fatigue is 27 right now, so you're definitely weary.
Yeah.
Are you carrying gold or something? Is
Just
that all armor?
Lots of armor, several
Yeah.
weapons.
That's right. Dwarven numbers are
Yeah.
not the same.
Dwarves are walking arsenals. All right, Hilduara, it is your turn. What are you doing?
Well, I'm awake, so I don't know, guys. General consensus: do we try to run for it or do we attack?
We can't run this round, I don't think.
Okay.
Like, not if we're all weary. We've got to get unweary.
I'm attacking this dude that is attacking me. Then here goes.
Oh.
Hey, that could have
Hey,
done
Hilduara,
better.
I need you to give me an athletics test against TN16.
We'll see how good your athletics are.
Let's see. I think that is worth utilizing a point of my courage.
Good call. Because otherwise you would be stuck in the mud right now.
Yeah. Which that'll add my body, which is 5, so that would be just enough. Or actually, it would add 8 since athletics is a favorite skill of mine.
All right. Rugilia, it's your turn.
I am going to do the ignore weariness
Inspire comrades.
comrades.
And harden comrades, whatever it is. All right.
So that is, I'm not sure how many rounds that
I
is.
think that's 3, but you can check it. Okay, so you can all temporarily avoid the effects of being weary. So you can switch your sheet back to not weary, which will help with those rolls. Margood, it's your turn. Idun and Margood, both, it's your turn.
So are we gonna start running? Or do we
Next
wait?
round, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch things up and do a two-handed axe, just because I can't hit anything with the bow.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
That misses.
Yes, it does.
All right. Idun.
Oops, not that one. What? Hold on. Does it matter which one of these guys?
Nope.
I will say if
I
Hildewara
think
or
the two middle ones are attacking you, Idun.
Okay.
if Hildewara or I get hit once, we're down.
That is a miss. Brandolf, it is your turn. So close.
5 away.
And his bonus is only 4, so he could only get it.
Well, longsword is favored though,
Oh.
so
Are you going to spend a point of hope?
yeah, I'm gonna spend a point of hope.
All right.
Hit.
So that will hit one of the ones you're fighting with for, is that two-handed damage?
Yes.
All right. 9 points of damage is not inconsiderable. You are the first one to actually wound one of these things, managing to sort of leverage your blade in underneath one of his leg guards and slicing close to the thigh bone. The orc spits and howls in rage. And it is the bad guy's turn. So, Hildewara.